one of the biggest reasons why, or at least a large contributor of why a lot of companies or a lot of ideas fail, is because they try to solve a problem that doesn't exist or may not be as important. I don't know. So ask yourself as a PM, how do we make sure we're building the right product or the right updates or feature that's right for our target users? A good PM should have both a short-term and long-term viewpoints rather than just making cool features. I know, a little bit controversial. I love building cool features too. That's my primary motivation. I'm kidding. But yeah, we have to juggle with all of these ideas coming in all the time. And what we want to do today is give you more insight on how other product managers actually do that, which is why we have our guest speaker today, who is Eddy Chang. Eddy Chang, Eddy, why did you give the audience a bit? Oh, there you waved.
Hi.
Okay, so let me just. That's Eddy. Now, Eddy is from Migo. He's a senior product manager, and he's here to share his insight about how to dig, validate, and decide ideas for the best outcomes for your products and ultimately for your customers and your company. He's going to give us insight and some advice on how he does it on a day-to-day basis. Probably hear a little few war stories there, but that's what we're all about. We want to share how other teams and other solutions come up from their side of the fence, because it might just trigger a solution for you and an answer for what you're looking for. As we're starting, we have a group chat on the lower left, on the lower right. Again, I don't know where I'm pointing at, but there's a Miro link there where you can sign up for the online IDs. And also, we'll keep it up in case you have questions. Feel free to post something right over there, and then we can bring it up to our guest speaker, Eddy. But I feel like I've said too much already. I don't want to spoil any surprises, which is why I'm going to sign up for the video right now and hand it off to the real start of the show, which is me. No, I'm just kidding. It is Eddy. Again, Eddy, Senior Product Manager from Migo. Hand it over to you
Thank you,
whenever you're
Jen.
ready.
Okay. Okay, so hi everyone. Good evening. I'm Eddie from Migo. So I'm the keynote speaker for today's topic, how PM should manage ideas for the best outcome. So I'll start with a little bit of my background. So I have 8 years experience in the mobile apps, including camera, social, and entertainment apps. So my first job was at HTC, the mobile phone brand, like 10 years ago. The most noticeable project I did at HTC was the power consumption issue, because at that time when the smartphone just came out, got popular, the software and hardware was not that advanced, so there are plenty of issues. What the most like critical issues for us was the power consumption issue. So imagine that you could wake up in the morning with full charged mobile phone, but in the afternoon you probably need to charge it again. So we had a task force to trying to fix this issue. And then I figured that HTC's device had a lot of background sync. So for example, an email app could sync data to check if there's new emails like every 1 minute, 2 minutes, or a few minutes, and then that really drains the battery. So if I'm a business person, that's fine. But if I'm a student, then it could be a problem because I probably never use email apps, so that's a waste of power. So I came up with a smart sync idea, which was that the sync schedule will be based on users' usage of the app. So if, for example, if I don't use email app, the sync schedule could be like every 2 days, 3 days, or even turn it off. And then by that approach, we resolve the problem a bit. And then my next job, I moved to a small, very small startup team. It's like 4 people, like the designer, a developer, a person, and a PM, which is me, and then a CEO, and that's four of us. After 2 years, we wouldn't be able to come up with to launch an app to the market. So I was so frustrated. So then I decided to move myself to like bigger teams. Then so I joined a camera social app, and then finally at Migo. Um, my current position is the senior product manager. Okay. So before starting the topic, just a basic background definition of what's the product management. Um, I quote from the a good book. The job of product management is to discover a product that is valuable, usable, and feasible. And then the product management is at the intersection of user experience, technology, and business. Okay, so then what do we build for the users? From marketing perspective, we might want to have a CRM system that allows us to review the campaign performance across all the advertising platforms. For product, we probably want to add like more information, like for example, IMDb rating to a movie, so then we can help users find a better titles they want to watch. And then for user experience team, they probably would like to have some in-app survey tool so they can gather more user feedbacks. Those are all very good ideas. None of them are bad, but the question is how important they are, and then how do we prioritize them? And here are some other common problems I have seen in my past experience. Is that, for example, an executive said, "Oh, there's a ticket created for months. Why it hasn't been done?" So that's a typical poor prioritization. This prioritization issue because the executive is only prioritizing tickets based on the create date instead of how the importance, like the business impact. Another case could be the executive said that okay, the quickest way to increase our conversion could be pricing. So let's redesign the pricing page and try a lower pricing strategy. This falls under another issue is that it's without qualitative or quantitative support. Another case could be let's just follow the industry's best practice. This falls under another problem's highest paid person's opinion because it's very hard to define what's best practice. Every business has a little bit different, so you can't just match one business with another and say, okay, let's follow them because we're 100% like them. So then at the end of the day, there will be just a like very subjective opinion. So to deal with the math, we will need to have a process, which is the product discovery I want to introduce today. So the product discovery typically describes a period during which you and your team focus on building the right thing. So from the chart here, we can see there are two spaces. One is the problem space. The second is the solution space. In the problem space, it all starts from finding a good problem to solve. So there are two phases. The first is alignment. The second is research. Alignment means you need to align with, as a product manager, you need to align with all the stakeholders to get everybody on the same page that what's the most important issues we're facing, what's the business problem we want to solve. For example, if like retention rate is low or the lifetime value is low. And then based on that understanding, we then dig deeper into the research field and then from like quantitative and qualitative side to see, okay, what could be the cost to the problem? And then once we have made the assumption, what could be the cost, then we will move on to the solution space. And starting from the ideation process is we want to generate ideas, more ideas, and then what other the ideas can solve the problem that we assume. And then once we finalize our ideas, we then move on to the next stage, is the creation, which is how we deliver those ideas and then realize the concept. And then once it's released to the field, how do we validate the performance? And then how do we refine the features again, and then to improve the whole metrics? So I want to share Migo's example. Migo is a content platform that allows users to download contents at our Migo hotspots and enjoy offline. So on the left-hand side of the screenshot, you can see this is our landing page of our Migo app, where users will see a catalog where you may find your interesting content that you want to watch. Then you can add it to your download queue, and then you'll need to find a physical store where we partnered with some grocery stores, so they will have our Migo hotspot installed in their store. And then you'll need to find out a Migo hotspot, and then go to the hotspot and connect to the Wi-Fi, and then download the content. So on the right, the picture on the right, you'll see there's a Migo beacon on this store, and then there's a man wearing Migo's polo shirt. It's our sales promoting our apps nearby the Migo hotspots. So the user flow is like the users will view the catalog and find interesting content, and then queue the titles, and then download at our Warung Migo. Warung means the store in Indonesian Bahasa. So, and then the user will download the content and then buy a pass at the store as well, and then the user will be able to watch the content. So the stakeholders of our team. So it's just a simplified version. So it's easier to provide some context. So we have CEO on top, and then we have our product director, and then product manager, data engineer, data scientist, UX researcher, and UI designers. We are based in Taipei. And then we have our GM in Indonesia, because we're currently operating in Jakarta. So we have the people in a field, like marketing directors, operation managers, are all in the field in Jakarta. So one of our example is that, how do we define problems? From the data, we know that the repeat usage is where more opportunities to improve. From user research team, they have a regular user interviews. We found that some interviewees didn't understand Migo is an offline watching service after using our app for a few minutes. They thought it's like no different from other streaming services. And from there, we conducted some usability tests. So our designers like really stood behind users and then see how they use the app, and then found that users usually just didn't notice we have a banner on top of the page. So if you see there's a red banner on top of the page, we thought this was kind of obvious that you can miss it, but in reality, it's just user didn't notice that there's a banner, and then so they didn't know that you need to like visit a physical store to be able to download the content. So that's where we found the real problem is. And then in our ideation process, based on the findings, we decided to add some coach marks at the right time and the right place to create more contests. So we decided to add like a full page like coach mark. So when after user add the content to the download queue, and then the users visit the download tab, which is the second tab on the left screenshot. The users will see this banner so that you can't miss it, and then you'll start either connecting to the Wi-Fi if you're standing right in front of the Migo hotspot, or you need to find a hotspot from there. And then if you tap on the Find Warren Migo, you will land on the our Warren locators page where all the Warren Migos location will be listed as a list view. And then with this proposal, we had our stakeholders meeting with our designer, marketing, PM, and executives together. So someone asked, why don't we think about fundamental changes if our current flow just can't deliver the value proposition that we expect? Okay, so that's a really, really great input, and I really appreciate that the meeting, because then if we were to add if we were adding like coach marks only for to solve this issue, that we might ended up like optimizing locally, because the coach marks is just adding like more information during the user flow, but it doesn't strengthen our like value proposition that much, because the physical store is our kind of our core concept, but it's still hidden within the user flow. So then it doesn't show it doesn't appear as important as it should be. So then we started to think about other options. So for example, like, can we ask users to select the physical store even before viewing the content catalog? That's like kind of more aggressive approach. We didn't end up with that approach, but this gives us like a higher level view. So we were able to maybe find like a global optimization point. So what we ended up was that we will have a new tab for the Migo hotspot page, and then so if you can take a look on the screenshot, there's a Warren tab in the middle, and then we also decided to add a map view, so that it's simpler for users to find Warren Migo nearby. So if I'm a user, I just tap on this tab and then see where I am, and then where's the nearest hotspot. I just navigate to the hotspot. So that's pretty simple. Then it's a lot simpler than like viewing the whole list view and find which one is nearest, because you only got the like address name, so it will take a lot of time to do that. So with that, we think we arrived at the right solution. And then the learnings from the whole process, I think, is without the qualitative or the quantitative feedback, we might just ended up building features like sending a free pass to encourage users to come back to Warren Migo, because we thought that, okay, the repeat usage is slow, so let's give them some incentive, right? That's very common thinking. But if without this like feedback, we'll probably just ended up this way. And then without the involving stakeholders in the ideation process, we might just ended up like doing local optimization. So I think that's a very good lesson learned for us. Okay, so now we have decided what to build. The next question will be, how do we deliver these features to the field? So adding a new tab with the embedded map view to navigate to the specific woggle is actually a very, very big story. It could take up maybe 1 or 2 months to finish the development. So that's not what not a, like a time frame that we will accept, because like for every startup, like the typical runway is like a few months. Very few startups can have like more than 2 years runway. So typically we'll want to ship the product features like as soon as possible, as quick as possible. So then we can gather more feedback and then adjust the directions. So our goal will be like to ship out the first version within, for example, 2 weeks. So how do we do that? We'll need to cut this epic into sub stories so we can um, like release partially and then at least have some value for the first version, and then we add based on that we add more features to like complete the whole epic. So the phase one, what we can do is add a new tab, and then the users will be able to see all the water Migos on the map view. And the second phase, what we can do is we add a navigation function, so the users will be able to navigate to the store. And the third phase, what we can do is we can add like a single button. So when user taps on the button, you just directly find the nearest water for the user. So that's how we split the epic into like stories that deliverable and then physical and usable for the users. So back to the main topic, how to manage ideas for the best outcome. My learnings in the past experience was that first you'll need to find the right problem to solve, and it's really hard. Probably you need to spend a lot of time to find a real problem. And then the second would be generate ideas and involve people when appropriate, like the example I just shared. And the third will be deliver an MVP and gather feedback as quick as possible. Like this famous, I'm not sure it is famous. My one of my favorite quotes is dreaming years, playing months, shipping days. And what are the common challenges we have? And Migo, I think it's not necessary just Migo. For most of the startup team, it's extremely hard to get alignment with stakeholders because it's really, especially I think it's super hard to get alignment on what's the cause of a problem because people will have different view. But it's easier to get alignment on, for example, on the business metrics because you can do that with a simple funnel analysis, so you know where the big drop off is, and then it's easier to agree on that part. But it's harder to get alignment on the costs and the solutions. And the second would be the balance between short-term goals and a long-term product roadmap. Like I just said, all the startup teams has strong pressure to delivering results within like in a weekly or monthly basis. And the third will be requests from other teams for supporting features. Every startup teams I've been with has this problem. Like there are a lot of requests from the different teams. They want to the developer to support their features to finish their like operation tasks. But usually you don't see a direct value to the business, but somehow it's still you can just ignore it. And then with to summarize, I think all the common like challenges related to the communication. So that another call is all the project management problem is the communication problem. So that's about it. What I'm trying to share in today's session. So I hope you guys have a like understanding like what's the responsibility of a PPN to focus on the value of a product, and then the why ideation matters through our examples, and then the real challenges for the PMs for to like from conduct from like ideation process to delivery. So I think that's about my sharing. So next, I would like to welcome some maybe questions.
Okay. Thank you for that presentation, Eddie. Uh, just checking. I can't. I'm not sure. Can you see my video again, Eddie?
Sorry, one
Hello, can you?
second.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that was Eddie from Migo telling his story about how they do it in Migo in terms of identifying what the right ideas are. Thank you for sharing those slides, Eddie. And now it's time for the most important part of the show, is asking about the war stories and getting to know more about some of the topics that he was talking about earlier. Now, Eddie, you mentioned a lot of interesting ideas earlier. We have a couple of questions coming in from the group chat, and I want to thank everyone for posting it so we can have something ready as soon as the slides finish. By the way, if you've joined in late, you can scroll up and find the link to our Miro board so you can sign up for your online ID so we can get to know you and find out some of your reasons why you've joined the meeting today. But if you are listening in now, we're just about to ask Eddie some of my interview or I would say Oprah questions. Now is when the real fun starts. Eddie, okay, you mentioned earlier that it's all about communication. It's all about
Hmm.
talking with everybody.
Hmm.
I'm very interested. We're very interested to know how do you manage engagement sessions or communication sessions, particularly with stakeholders who are very high up. Because you did post an interesting acronym earlier. It's the HIPPO, right? The
Yep.
highly the highly paid person's
Highest paid
opinion.
person's opinion.
There
Yes.
you go. That is my dream, by the way. Just beat a hippo. But how do you facilitate or how do you engage with the hippo or very high senior stakeholders? Because obviously they'd have a very loud voice in the room, Eddie. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes and I think a lot of people have experienced this, even with executives. You can
Mhm.
show all the data you want, but most of the time, the loudest voice in the room does tend to get heard more often than not, Eddie. How are you and your team working with that dynamic, by the way? When they just come in and just like, bam, these are my ideas. This is what we're gonna do, Eddie. How does
Mhm.
that work?
I think I'm lucky I'm with Migo now because in Migo's culture we don't have that much there. Although there's position like different title, but
Mm-hmm.
we actually work as a team. So it's rarely you will see someone speaking loud on a specific idea and
Mm-hmm.
then insist on that. So that's I think I'm lucky. But in my past experience, yes, that happened a lot, all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So my experience was to first, well, you need to build a relationship with those like high person.
Mm-hmm.
So like uh, either on the business side or like on the personal side, you probably need to build some relationship. For example, you can like chat with persons um, and then have some like activities sharing with the person. For example, someone likes music, you can talk about music with a person.
Mm-hmm.
So then he will like so then he'll reduce the defense for your opinions, and
Mm-hmm.
then you guys will be able to start easily with each conversation. And then on the business side, I would say it's better to set a example for the stakeholders. For example, um, if I uh, promised I'll do ABC
Mm-hmm.
task, and then I'll need to like update the status as frequent as possible, so they're comfortable. So where I am,
Mm-hmm.
where's the status, and
Mm-hmm.
then once they build up the confidence for you, and then you'll be easier for coming discussions.
I see. Okay. Okay. Now that's very interesting, Eddie. I myself use just K-pop and drown out everyone in my music just so I can get them on my side. No,
Mhm.
just kidding. That being said, though, um, you, you mentioned an example in Migo, and I'm very happy that the culture there is really more invested on getting that data, getting that information. That raises a different question, though, Eddie, because it is very data driven. Because everyone has a lot of meaningful input. The challenge now is, well, how do you decide, Eddie, which the good idea is? Let's just say that the data backs up three of the ideas. They're all from major stakeholders. Communication is always the key. But
Mhm.
how do you get to pick which the best idea is? Or even how do you find that something is the best idea? Because if we're basing it on insight, on data that's already happened, how do you make that decision on what could be a good move for you and your team's future?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
may not be in the data, and
Mhm.
also these are all stakeholders and they're all good ideas. How do
Mhm.
you say no, Eddie? How do you pick the good ones?
I think it all comes back to the business objective. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's our like long-term uh, product roadmap? What's our long-term goal?
Mm-hmm.
If we want to, um, our long-term roadmap is to support like more um, like users to be able to download our content when
Mm-hmm.
where the internet connection is unstable,
Mm-hmm.
then we should avoid the ideas like okay providing um, online downloads for those users who want to also have the ability to download because
I see.
that's not in line with our like long-term strategy. That's one view, and then another view is um, we'll probably need to discuss like the confidence level, how like each of the idea creators, what's your confidence level,
Mm-hmm.
how much you want to bet on this feature. So then we can have a discussion on that, and then of course some there if there's some efforts or what's the resource required for that different features. So then we can decide based on the resource available now, what's the
Mm-hmm.
best option for us.
Okay. Okay. No, no, no. That makes sense. I have a next question for that actually. By the way, if you're all wondering why I'm looking up, it's because my screen is on the wall. I'm not like, and also this is a gaming chair. I'm just used to doing this. It's not a weird thing.
Okay.
It's a thing. It's just a thing, guys. Um, so it's really sticking to your long-term vision, your I can't believe I'm saying this, North Star, right? Making sure that what you're doing helps you arrive to that North Star goal and making sure those ideas are aligned with it. Right, Eddie?
Mhm.
That being the case, have you encountered or what happens or what do you and your teams do when you encounter an idea that it may not necessarily be aligned to your North Star goal, but it is aligned to the dollar star goal, Eddie? What if it's a feature request that is showing you the money? How do you say no to the money, Eddie? What if this feature, this update that they want to develop, good idea, very valid, but not really part or aligned with your North Star goal, but it's showing you the dollar star goal, Eddie? How do you say no to that?
Well, that's a very tough question, a very good question. So I think it's more of a high level question because as a startup company, we'll probably need to know where we are, what's our funding status,
Mhm.
uh, that allows us to do uh, how much level of risk features,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would say, if we're really like running out of money, then there's a short-term solution to help us to survive
Mm-hmm.
for another next few months. I would probably go with it. But then if that's just a little bit of money, but doesn't make a huge difference from our uh, in terms of our like survival, then
Mm-hmm.
I would probably insist that we should focus on our vision.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. No, that's pretty sound, actually, and I definitely understand. I think a lot of us can relate to it very fundamentally, especially when it talks about money. Um, le- let's say you've already picked the feature, the product, the idea you wanna go with.
mm,
What is your framework for ideation process? Are you using a tool? Are you using an exercise? Are you using a session with your team? You know, like with a boat, with a sail. Like, what have you found most effective so far that you go back to whenever you want to use a framework for ideation?
that's also a very good question. So, um, from my experience, most of the time, it's like brainstorming. So,
Mm-hmm.
like you gather a few people in the same room, and then you can write on the whiteboard for the
Mm-hmm.
ideation, and then
Mm-hmm.
each one can speak out why they think this works, and then why they think this doesn't work, and then maybe they also share some support from either the quantitative side or the qualitative side. But one thing I really would like to try, I never tried it before, but
Mm-hmm.
I really want to try is the six thinking hats. I think some of you might have heard this approach. Six thinking hat means
Six thinking hat. Okay.
yeah. As at a, like for example, the first 5 minutes everyone is positive, and then the next 5 minutes everyone is negative. So you can like strongly direct the meeting to a specific output very quickly, and then gather all the thoughts together at the end of the meeting. That's something I really want to try.
Hmm. Okay. That's the first time I've heard about six thinking hats. Actually, I quickly Googled it and shared it.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the thing. It's six hats. It's six hats.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's very interesting. Okay. But so you're saying you don't have a go-to tool or go-to process right at the moment. It's really about trying to engage as many people
Yep.
into the
Mhm.
room, so to speak.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Uh, uh, with that being said, Eddie, let's say you do the room, right? You're there, you got your stakeholders, you got your designers, your sales team, your product managers, everybody who has a good idea. And then out of the blue, out of the blue, someone says some wild, crazy ideas. Like, I entered the room and just said, "Oh, let's make a user experience for Migo where it's like Pokemon Go, just to make it interesting. Like they can find the next download spot, make it more interactive, make them visit the app more.
Mhm.
How do you like contain that idea, Eddie? Because sometimes a lot of these ideas can be very like impactful. They could just be very full of energy, not really backed by anything,
Mhm.
but sometimes it can take away the conversation in the crowd. How do you sort of facilitate and like rope that back in
Mhm.
so that people don't get distracted by all the flashy things? Flashy things.
I think I would start with like map out the kind of user flow, and
Mm-hmm.
how do we simplify it to a state when it's like easier to make a prototype to test
Mm-hmm.
out the idea first. Yeah, so uh, crazy ideas without backing of any quantitative or qualitative data is something risky, but
Mm-hmm.
could potentially work. So we, I think, as a startup team, it's still very important to welcome any ideas. You don't like just disagree people's idea easily. That's
Right.
in the long run, it's not very healthy for the team to grow. So I would still go with like let's think about this idea first, and then how do we map out the user flow and simplify it to cells where we can uh, feel more solid about it, and
Okay.
then we can maybe have a pilot test on that with
Mm.
the minimum resource needed.
Okay. Okay. No, no, no. That's pretty sound. So thanks for supporting my Pokemon idea, Eddie. Watch out for that
Yeah,
from Migo coming in soon.
that's a really good
uh,
idea at the end.
with that being said, really investing time on ideation, obviously, very powerful in getting to that answer. But what if you have these stakeholders that have these great ideas, but don't really want to spend that time on ideation? They're like, oh, Eddie, I don't want to get involved in that. Here's the idea. It makes sense.
Mm,
Go do the thing. But it was their
mm,
idea. But it was their
mm,
idea,
mm,
Eddie.
mm,
And sometimes, in the process of creating things, that can change very dramatically over time. So how do you handle these stakeholders that just dropped in these ideas and say, no, Eddie, I don't have time for ideation, but obviously will get very vocal and involved when
mm,
you're at the finish line? And how do you
mm,
manage that?
mm. Yeah, I think one way I think is useful is that to hold people accountable.
Mm,
So if you are so strong about your opinion, then you want to bet on that, please make sure how do you want to measure the result, and then we'll track that result for
mhm.
sure. So then the people who laid out the ideas would probably think twice if really they want to double down. Yeah, I think that's very common, like for people to
Mm,
throw out ideas and then not responsible for that result. So the key is to just hold them accountable. If you wanna double down, that's fine. But
mm,
as the result, we will check.
mm. Okay. Okay, I like that. So you heard it, guys. Double down, make them think twice. No, it's it's shared accountability. It's shared accountability, which is making people that think twice. Uh, Speaking of thinking twice, if you want to test out an idea for a feature, Eddie, do you actually have to build it? And if you don't, how do you test these ideas before actually come up with them? I mean, how do you see if a customer would like it if they don't really see anything you've made? How do you test an idea, Eddie?
I think I'll still try to make a like a visible thing for people to consider, because if it's totally like nothing,
Hmm.
it's really hard for people to imagine. So I would still tend to like use like mockups to draw something on the paper and then test it with users, and that's how we do it in Migo.
Hmm. Okay. 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 That makes sense.
Mm,
Um. Okay. Let me rewind it back. Rewind it back. We've got a lot of example for Migo. Very happy. You're in a great culture that supports that. Uh, I'll just go a quick look, Eddie. As a quick look on that startup from where you spent 2 years. Since there were only four of you, Eddie, that makes everyone a stakeholder. So how do you say no to that? Because obviously it's much more personal because everyone is basically 25% of the company. Like how does that dynamic work out for you? I mean, with larger groups, their levels, their groups, their departments, and then that sorts of lessens the amount of how personal a decision is. But I guess since they would be stakeholders, let's just say all four of them are senior stakeholders. How do you manage saying no to that? Because feelings can get hurt. Feelings might get hurt because everyone will be very invested in their own ideas. How is that managed out, Eddie?
So you're specifically talking about how to say no to say no to the idea or to an idea.
Oh, how to say no to an idea when it's very, very personal or very strong to that
Oh,
person who's
okay.
very invested in it, very invested in it.
Oh, okay. When this very small team, um, I think it's when it's very small team, I would
Yep.
probably uh, ask myself first, are these people the ones I think we can create a business together? So
Mm,
I think the personality and
mm.
will you be uh, willing to work with these people for 10 years, 20 years to build a real big business? If the answer is true, then I probably just accept with their ideas.
Hmm.
And if the answer is no, and I probably thinking about whether I stay with this team.
Okay.
So I think when it's very small team, I would probably think about these people. Yeah,
Okay.
because when a business grows bigger, people may come and go. But when
Yep.
you're a very small team, the
Yep.
people
That's
is
it.
the only thing you have. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. We have one more question on the chat. We want to slide by you. So speaking of stakeholders, Eddie, how much stakeholder involvement is too much? Let's not say all of it. how how much stakeholder involvement is too much? Where is the proverbial line, or even is there a line, Eddie?
I think in general, it depends on the level of ideas. If it's more feature related, I think less is better. Like you only include the designers and then the engineers is enough to decide whether how to build a feature, what's the spec, detailed spec. But then if it's like a more high level, like the examples I just shared, uh, do we want to redo our UI flows to better communicate our value proposition? This kind of high level questions, I would tend to include more stakeholders. Like
Mm,
this is kind of direction. So once you've done with that, you probably stay with it for a few months or even years. So that with that bigger changes, I would tend to like involve more people. But if it's like a feature, we probably will just cut it the next version. Then
mm.
we don't need to involve that many people.
Okay. Okay. So it's a really on a case to case base. There's just no
Yes,
catch all for it. Okay. No,
yes,
that makes sense because from what I'm getting, it's really about living. Sorry, say this: living in the moment for every ideation, every feature. You just have to live in it. There's just no catch all to it. It's really about communication, engagement. I think is that what you're saying, Eddie? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Checking on the chat, we don't have any new questions coming in, but we'll pause for a few seconds to see if anybody else wants to say something. If they want to post something on the chat, again, it's on either lower left or lower right. I have no idea where I'm pointing at, but there is a chat button there. I think it's lower left. You can post your questions there directly so we can ask Eddie while he's here on the show. While we are waiting, I will attempt to share a slide. Actually, I don't know how to.
Not sure. Okay.
I don't know how to. I might break it. I might break it. Um, So while I'm trying to do that, oh wait, did the oh no, that was you, Eddie. I thought I did something. Okay, so while we're waiting, I just wanted to talk about product PH. See, our vision is for world-class products to be built in the Philippines, and we really want to provide an open space for people interested in building great products so we can connect with each other, share ideas, build relationships with each other, and just like Eddie said, engage, engage, engage. Thank you so much for joining us today and for listening to our guest Eddie. Again, you can post in those questions while we're still waiting. We've still got a few more seconds coming in. Um, but we wanted to thank you. We wanted to thank you, Eddie, too. Eddie, Senior Product Manager from Migo, for joining us today. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Jian, and also thank Prapish for giving me this chance to speak at this session.
Thank you. Thank you. The pleasure was all ours. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Speaking of thank you, we are actually looking to build our team, engage with us, get to share great music like you're hearing in the background, which I will be sharing as promised at the end of the show. We're looking for contributors to join our team. And if you're interested, if you want to sign up, want to join our show, want to help us build that community, you want to share our vision, slide into the DMs, as they would say, to Yana or Jan via Facebook or a meetup. I believe. Yep, there it is on the slide. I absolutely knew how to do that. Oh, okay. We have a question that came in for Ashley. Since communication is so important, how does it work on a global scale, Eddie? How do you facilitate with multilingual teams and markets? I mean, you're based in Taiwan. Your focus is on the Indonesia market. There will be some things lost in translation. How are you working? How are you facilitating that communication, Eddie? How are you making sure we're capturing the right thoughts and ideas? How does that working out?
Wow, that's a big question. So I think
Thank you, Ashley.
nice punch. So I think that's first of all, I would try to understand a person's personality first. Like uh, with like if you listen carefully to a person's words, they said that you probably understand their personality if they're like super confident, like or they're super conservative person. Then you can, based on that understanding, you'll probably need to know, okay, you'll probably be able to know, okay, when you say, I might be able to do that tomorrow, what does that really mean? So I think it's
Mm,
really, it's also probably a culture like difference. So you probably need to understand the people
mhm,
first,
mhm,
and then you'll get to know when they say something what does that really mean, and and then second is also still like we're doing our like talent team in Taiwan is also doing very hard in Taiwan as well as in Indonesia. So they're doing very hard on like building the relationship across the team because due to the COVID situation, we
mm,
it's really hard to meet up with those colleagues in Indonesia. So we're holding like some virtual events to allow us to be able to meet with each other and speak with each other. Like today, we had like a manager training session. I had a chance to meet with one of our colleagues in Indonesia, and then I got to know his personal habit is like a crab farming. It's super interesting because our practice today is like to plan for your day. And then I got to know his like top priority for a day is like crab farming. It's really interesting. So we had a really great chat in that moment. So that's I think where can facilitate and then to improve the like personal relationship with each
Huh.
other.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
just to make sure I heard that, you said crab farming, right?
Yep.
I did not see that kind. That sounds like I did not. What? What? Crab farming?
Yeah, we
Farming
do.
crabs? Is that what it? Did I get it
Oh,
right?
yeah, maybe it's
Wow.
it's what my mistake.
No, I think I think you're right. I just couldn't believe it, Eddie. That was a curveball. That was a surprise. Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, thanks for talking about that, Eddie. Um, and you're right. I think taking the time to talk with the person as a person, not just the job, really opens up the engagement and the communication even better. I mean, there's already a lot of barriers with distance and with language. I think making an attempt to getting to know the other person really extends a long way into facilitating that communication. So I definitely agree with you. I did not see that coming, crab farm. Anyway, did not see that
Anyway,
coming.
let's assume it's a fiction. It's
No, I'm
fiction.
sticking with that. Is so much more interesting. That is just so much more interesting. Okay. Lines are still open. You can still put in your questions. We've still got Eddie for I think a few more minutes. I think do we have a few more minutes? Well, let's do a time check. Let's do a time check. Oh wait, I have something. I have something, Eddie. Sorry. Came in. Someone came in really late, but they're super interested in Migo, and we were hoping, while we still got a little bit more time left, can you tell a bit more about Migo's origin story? Like, what's the what's the business here? How are things coming along? Uh, Tell us a little more about Migo, actually, Eddie. Let's talk about you. We want to know more about you. Not, I mean, if there's crab farming, absolutely, but we'd love to know more about. We'd love to know more about um, your journey with
Migo?
Migo. Yeah,
Um, it's really like hard for me
direct.
hard question for me because I joined Migo just for a few months, so I didn't really understand the whole long history for Migo. But what I can say for uh, this company is I think the most special company I've ever worked because you never get a chance to like have a book club with a CEO, right? So anywhere, but it happens in Migo. I had a chance like in my second month, I had a chance to had a book club studying like product leadership with our CEO, like for a few weeks. So that's a very cool experience. And then uh, the culture here is really respect. Like we respect all the people's, no matter your like job titles or your function. And so to me, I think Migo is the team. Whatever he does, I stay with him because I think that's the team I really like, and that's the culture I really like.
Okay.
Do we have
Well,
Jun online?
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me,
Okay.
Eddie? Eddie, I was out at the back farming the crabs. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Okay.
You know
Cool.
what I mean?
You're still
Okay.
Googling?
I am googling. I'm still I'm still googling. I'm googling crab farming and six hats. I'm googling crab farming six hats. Okay.
Okay. Maybe you can find it in another hat.
But yeah, thanks for sharing your story, Eddie. and how you're really working together with all the other teams, sharing your story about Migo. I'm generally very happy for you. Sounds like it's a great place to be in, especially if what I'm hearing, the culture is about valuing the best ideas. It's really about the best ideas, not who shouts the loudest.
Yeah.
Which works for me because I'm the loudest and I would always have the best ideas anyway. Okay, now that being said, that's all the questions we have for now, and I guess I'm going to pause here and hand it over to Yana or Keith. Keith, do you want to say a few words, or do we still have time? Like, why don't I hand it over to Keith? Keith, are you there? How is the weather? Like, what's the weather update there?
Hello, everyone.
You're cutting in and out, Keith. Oh, there you go. Okay.
All right. So, hello, everyone. Thank you again for attending this session, Product Page Talks. Thank you, Eddie, for sharing your insights on product ideation and how to manage it within your company and share some insights from previous companies. And also to our product organizers, Yana, Michiko, and Ashley, John Pinto. So thanks for helping out. And of course, from the Migo people like Odelia, Brian, and other folks from Migo, thank you for attending this session. We really have a great insight from you guys. Um, thank you so much. And I think Miana will have some short introduction on our next webinar and how can you contribute more on product page. Go, Yana.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So, next week, next Thursday, we will have a 1 hour workshop about negotiation. So it's a collaboration with Product Tonic, which is Southeast Asia PM communities. So they are planning to create the PM training across the countries. So it will be really great opportunity to network with them and also learn about program. But you can definitely learn about the negotiation with stakeholders, which is related to tonight. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe Migo team can share how interested people can, I don't know, contact them if they have additional questions or maybe they want to work for Migo.
And there it is. Eddie?
Anyone? Brian?
Like info@migo.com or something.
Yep.
If ever there isn't any, then we can just leave it in a private message chat, and then maybe the organizers can put it in the caption to the post.
Yeah. Or just search Migo on LinkedIn. We'll have our introduction there, and you can find me or Brian for more information. And thank you all the listeners for all your time and all the good questions.
Thank you.
By the way, photo for organizers and from the Eddie's Migo team. Yeah. Who will get the shot? I think Yana.
I can take a screenshot.
Sure.
Everybody just needs to turn on their video.
Yeah. Can you turn on your video for a while for Migo team and product page, and of course our audience. If you can turn on your camera. So okay, on your cue, Ashley.
Yeah, just a really quick photo for whoever is comfortable showing their face. Hi. Thank you, friends. Okay, I'm assuming these are all the 5 people who are happy to show their faces. So let's do 1, 2, 3, smile. Hey, nice. Cool. I got it. Thank you, guys.
Yay!
Have a good evening.
Yay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
Bye.
Thank you.